Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to our informational interview sessions. Again, my name is Laura Kay, and I'm the president of the New England Franco-Haitian Youth Federation. Today, we have our next guest, Perla Durandis. She attends Temple Salem. I'm really excited to have her. Thank you so much again, Perla, for being willing to do this. And I'm
Of
excited
course.
about your journey. So we're going to just jump right in.
Okay, I'm happy to be here.
Thank you. My first question is the dreaded interview question. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay. Well, I was born, just kidding. I'll start with the born, I guess. Yeah, I was born in Rhode Island, raised in Dorchester, Mattapan, moved to Brockton, and then I went to school at Andrews University for architecture. And during that time, I really didn't know that architecture was for me. I literally took an online career compatibility test and chose my career that way and moved forward from that. And so I went to school at Andrews University, got my bachelor's and my master's there. And now I currently work at Icon Architecture, which is a firm based in Boston, Massachusetts.
Awesome. Thanks for sharing that. Also, I had no idea those career tests were like accurate. So I
I
think
know.
it's cool that you took it and you did it.
Listen, that was a gamble, honestly. I just needed something so I can get into school and have a direction. Because I knew I liked math, I knew I liked art, and I knew I liked to help people. And so when I took that career compatibility test, architecture was up there along with psychology. And I did take one psychology course in college, but it's above me. So, I mean, I respect everyone who's in the psychology field, and you guys have the skills and the attention span for it. Not me. Okay.
You're so funny, Perla. Okay, so you're in the field of architecture.
Mhm.
Can you tell me about how being a Christian impacts your career and your faith?
Yeah. So, like I said, I went to Andrews, and I think the education that I received there has a big part to play in how I apply my Christianity and my Christian walk in my career, because they taught us the importance of stewardship. And so, what I carried from my education to my professional life is understanding that this is more than just about me. It's more than just creating fancy buildings. It's about making habitable places and spaces that feel safe, that feel like people could claim as their own, but also can be inviting and welcoming to all other people, depending on the project and situation and stuff like that. But it does have the propensity to change lives. And again, going back to that whole stewardship thing, it's more than just getting your name out there. It's a service. It's in a form, and it's in a small way. It could be ministry if you apply it well. Um, but yeah, that's what I would say. Stewardship is how I it's the mentality I take in the professional field.
I love that you said that. And, I think when people of different industries get together, they're able to gain another perspective. I feel like I would have never thought about architecture as something that is like about creating spaces that people feel comfortable in, they feel loved
Yeah.
in. And I think it's beautiful that you're thinking about it and explaining it in that way. That's amazing.
Yeah, for sure. Because you can't apply something for an office building in a hospital room. That just doesn't work. Now you have to think about, how does this space kind of affect this person's health? How does this space, when it comes to the business side or the corporate world, how does this space help elevate the workmanship, or help get this person at this level where they could function correctly, be comfortable? There's a whole bunch of things happening when it comes to spaces and places. And then just to dive a little bit deeper, Laura, you got to think about the composition of the building system. You got to make sure that the air coming in doesn't affect the people living inside, giving a healthy environment. You got to make sure that the building stands up. Okay. So it's just stuff like that. Like it's a lot. You got to think about site, structure, indoor environment, quality, all this other stuff.
Wow, literally things that we never think of. We just take advantage of the fact that like my house is standing up. I'm not thinking about how, I'm not thinking about why. I just know
Yeah.
that it does, but those are
Yeah.
all things that you think about. I love that.
Yeah.
I want to dive a little bit deeper into the question about faith and your job. Would you say that you're working in your purpose? And if so, how do you know?
Um, so to be honest, Laura, I think I am now starting to work in my purpose, if that makes sense. I'm currently at a crossroads where I've had the background and the experience both in the professional field and in education, where I feel comfortable enough to actually figure out where my passion can take me and how I can fulfill my purpose. So to answer that, I would say not yet, but I will be. I will be very soon. So um, I do plan on focusing a little bit more on the educational side of things, or bringing youth up to, or introducing them to architecture, their creative sides, their design, like tapping into that potential that they have, because a lot of people, and especially people in our communities, in Black underprivileged communities, there is a lack of knowledge of what architecture is or where your creative abilities can take you in the professional world. And I really want to just dive into that a little bit. So I do have an idea, but how to get there is the challenge, and that's where I'm trying to navigate right now.
I love that. I thank you for being open and honest about that. You know what I mean? Because I think we live in a world where everybody is posting their perfections on social media. Nobody
Mhm.
is talking about the journey. And
Yeah.
you're going on a journey right now. And you've been on a journey, honestly, for a while. And now you're at a crossroads where you're making decisions and you're reflecting on the different avenues that you can take. And I
Yeah.
think it's really beautiful.
Right, right. And like fresh coming straight out of college and working in the field, you know, I knew that this again was just something to check off the list. You go to school, you get the degree, you get a job, move forward. But any advice I would give, is just like we're still young, and there's so much out there that we can learn and explore and use our talents in, and still give glory, and still impact people's lives in a positive way. So I just don't, I hate the idea of being fit in a box, or staying in a certain lane to be successful, if that makes sense. Because that's not the type of God that we serve. Like, we don't serve a God that is limited. So I don't want to act like my life is limited to just one thing.
That's beautiful. Can you talk a little bit about the reflective process that you had to go through to come to like this decision?
Yeah, no problem. So I definitely reached a point where my professional life was impacting me mentally. The architecture field is not conducive to a decent work-life balance. You're always working, you're always striving to get projects done at certain deadlines. And then once you meet that deadline, it's another deadline after that. And so I'm the type of person that likes to do good work, but in order to do good work, it does take a lot out of you. And so I reached a point where I just had a breaking point, and I had to ask myself, what am I really doing? Like, what is this all for? Is this project going to help me in any way in my purpose? How do I like? How do I feel like I'm making an impact doing these certain projects? And so that was the turning point for me, where I was just like, Perla, let's take a step back here. What is our ultimate goal? How do we get there? And what is it that we're doing now to get there? So that's that's what happened to me to get me to that point.
Those are really good questions. And I definitely encourage you, if you're listening to this, to reflect on those questions for yourself. Who are you? Where do you want to go? And how are you doing the things that you need to be doing to get there?
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
thanks for sharing that.
yeah, no worries.
Tell us a little bit about your current job.
Okay, so where I currently work, we focus on multifamily housing as well as renovation projects and institutional work. I primarily work on the institutional educational studio. So we do classroom renovation, um, city or state projects, and other miscellaneous projects as well. Uh, in the past 2 to 3 years, I've worked on town hall projects, town hall renovation projects, small things like classroom renovations, which, not to humbly speaking, they have won awards, so it's stuff like that,
You better be out here winning awards, Perla.
no, it's something light, I don't like talking about it, but I'm just stating facts. I'm just stating facts. So yeah, so it's those types of projects I'm on. And one thing I will say, that working at a firm that has a wider portfolio helped me realize what I don't like, which is the multifamily housing world, and what I could see myself doing a little bit more, which is the renovation portion of it, educational projects, and then of some government jobs, not all of them.
Awesome. You started talking a little bit about this earlier, but I'm wondering if you could tell us what type of education and training is necessary to be in this field. Like, do you need any licenses or certifications, or is it just like bachelor's done, or do you have to get your master's?
Yep. So the process is you go to a college that is NAAB accredited, which is the National Architecture Registration Board, or something like that. And from that, you need to get a degree that is accredited from an accredited school, which is most likely a master's degree. And then afterwards, you need to get a certain amount of hours in the field. And then you need to pass, right now is 6 exams. So yeah. Yeah, it's a long journey. Back in the day, it used to be worse. I heard that they used to have like 11 exams, and that was by hand. I can't imagine it, me being a millennial. But they have different exams for different topics. And like I was mentioning before, like the wall systems, mechanical systems, structural systems, you have exams about site environment, you have other things that have to do with the business side, how to bill, all this other stuff. So it's very involved. And it's a pretty long process. You would have to to get to a licensed architect, you would have to pass all 6 exams. Okay. And I know what I'm going to say is controversial, but Perla considers herself an architect without having that license. Okay, I know I sound crazy saying that, but all that different between me and my counterpart with the same background, with the same or less experience, is that license. And so I am pursuing, passing these exams, but those are the bane of my existence. But I gotta do it. It's annoying, it's frustrated, but again, with that mentality of doing it not for myself only, but for those around me, that is what's pushing me to pass these exams. It's no longer about, oh, I need it because I want it. I don't want to torture myself for fun. That doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like six, not
Yeah.
six.
Yes. 6, the shortest exam is like 3.5 hours. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. You might have lost some people
Yeah, I sure did.
thinking about it after hearing you say that. Wow. But you're still working in the role without having the license. So that's a
Mhm.
thing for people to know, that they don't actually have to get it, but it would
Right.
be nice to get it.
Yeah, definitely. And as a disclaimer, this is just in the USA. I know if I were to go to another country, like a developing country, I would still be considered an architect because I have my master's and I have the experience. And the licensure process is way less extensive than the US. So
Something to consider if y'all want to go back to the motherland, okay?
let's go. Let's change Haiti.
Okay. So Perla, if you walked into my house or even if you stood outside of it, would you be able to tell me like they did a good job doing this, this needs to be changed, et cetera,
Yeah,
et cetera?
yeah, I mean, visually, I could take a first pass at it. If you wanted me to take a deeper look or a closer look, I can do that. You know, if something's leaking, I could make an estimated guess as to what's causing that leak and how to fix it. So yeah, I could confidently say yes, yes, I would be able to point out the defect in your house.
Not the diffel. Wow. Okay. So either you're building my house or before I buy one, you're coming with me to make sure I'm buying a quality home.
I'm down for that.
Okay.
No
Okay.
one's playing my Laura.
That's
Not on
right.
my watch. You
That's
know,
right. That's why you have friends. Okay.
hey, 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 listen, I don't want people hitting on my DM saying, "Hey, I have this house for you to look at." Okay, it's the process.
Sorry, this isn't available for everyone, but it is for me. Thank you.
Yes.
So switching gears a little bit, what would you say is the most challenging piece of the work that you do?
The most challenging, time management. Um, when I was talking about how there isn't much of a work-life balance in this field, it's real. Like, and you could get carried away, especially now with us working from home, where your 9 to 5 isn't really 9 to 5. It's 8:30 to 6, you know, or even later. And so that I would say that is probably my main challenge is knowing when to quit and when to start. And I get yelled at by my family and friends a lot because they see that I enjoy doing the work I do to a certain extent, but they also see that it's taking a toll because I'm just giving so much of my day to the work.
Yeah, that must be really, really hard.
It is. It is. It's tough, especially being a Black woman in this field. Fun fact: we only make up 0.3% of this profession. We just reached number 519, I believe, in the history of the U.S.
The fact that you can
519.
count, the fact that you can count, wow.
Yeah, so it's tough because and it's more of a mental thing where you don't want to be that Black person. You don't want to make your people look bad in the light. So you got an image to maintain, this productivity level to maintain, and still look strong and graceful by doing it while doing all of that. So actually, that would be another challenge. Just having this unspoken expectation of being a Black woman in the field of architecture.
Yeah, I think that is as I'm getting older, as we're getting older, it's something that we're starting to see about these unspoken expectations that people have on us and that they place on
Mm,
us. And it's a balance between like um performing, I would say, and also doing what's best for your mental health. You have to balance it because
yeah,
at the end of the day, we have bills and we have people that are depending on us, right? So we can't just quit just because all the time. But at the same time, like your mental health comes first at the end of the
yep,
day. So it's
yeah,
it's a really tough thing to balance, but I'm glad that you're learning how to do that now. And the people who are listening, if you're not in your career yet, it's good that you're hearing us say this so that you can prepare yourself mentally to go into that
hmm
fight. You know what I mean?
yeah. Like, don't be like me, where you're 6 years in, and it's already taken a toll on your mental health. It's very important to take care of yourself, to take care of your mental health in this field, and in all fields, actually.
Yeah, for sure, in all fields. And this experience was not wasted, Perla. You went through this, and maybe you went through this for this exact moment. You know what I mean? To tell
Oh
your
yeah.
story to everybody who's listening,
Mhm.
thinking about it, to learn more from you firsthand. You know what I mean? So nothing that you have gone through on this journey has been wasted.
Yeah, thank you. And honestly, if anyone's listening and wants to learn more about architecture or my journey, I think I'm semi easy reachable. I am a little bit low key, but I know plenty of people. If they know you, Laura, you could just send them my contact, and we could talk from there.
Yeah, for sure. Thank you for offering that up. I have a couple more questions and then we'll be on our way. So
Okay.
I guess the opposite of the most challenging is what's the most rewarding part of your job?
Oh, okay. So seeing a space transform from just skin and bones to a beautiful space and then people enjoying it, that is the most rewarding. Because I did work on this project and this was a school project where they wanted to renovate 2 classrooms into a emergency operations lab or something like that, where there's a whole bunch of technology and gadgets. And honestly, it is being used as right now, after completion, it's being used as a template for other emergency spaces. So I would say the most rewarding is knowing that your client is beyond satisfied with the work you do and knowing that you did your best to get it to that point.
I love that. Nothing like a finished product.
Oh my gosh. Like HGTV, you see the before and after. It's just like a breath of fresh air. And I love that.
For sure. We started getting into this a little bit, but when work is stressful, what do you do to take care of yourself?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
You're taking too long. I'm getting concerned.
Okay, so dang, Perla. Okay, so I'm learning this, but I do enjoy going to the gym. I do enjoy working out. However, uh, I haven't been taking care of myself as much as I would like to. But going to the gym is one. Painting. I love to paint. I love to, sketch or do things, get my mind off things. And I also like to read. So those are the 3 things: going to gym, painting, or being artistic in some way outside of the work environment. And dang, what was the last thing I said?
Reading.
Yes, reading. Oh, and I do a little drumming here and there, just to get my frustrations out. So it's an equal balance.
Yeah, I love that. I love those things and I hope that you do them more often.
Okay. Yes. Yes. I know. I feel like my mom is here now. I hope she doesn't see this.
She will. I'm gonna send it to her. Okay, Perla, if you could do this all over again, would you choose the same path for yourself? And if not, what would you do differently?
uh, I think I would do the same, but the only thing I would do different is try to see other areas where I could use or get a basis of where I could use my skill set or my interest in. And for example, in school, because the workload is so intense, you can't really double major. I kind of wish I did double majored so I can combine, architecture and business or architecture and psychology. I wonder where that could take me. So that's one thing I wish I changed. And obviously, they probably organized it in that way so that the students aren't being burnt out and killing themselves over meeting deadlines and also passing finals. So yeah, that's one thing I would change in a perfect world.
Yeah, but we don't live in a perfect
We
world.
sure don't. So we're forging our paths.
Right. We're making the best out of what we have.
Yeah, for sure.
So the last question that I have is, do you have any advice for students or maybe people who want to change careers? that are interested in this, what would you tell them?
Sure, sure. We kind of touched upon this a little bit earlier. Remember who you are at your core. If you don't know who you are, figure it out. Find out who you are, what makes you you. And then from that, I'm sure you're going to get to a point where you could find a career that matches or aligns with that to bring you to your purpose. And another thing is that don't lose who you are within this process. I know the world could be very distracting and could tell you that, oh, this is what success looks like, but don't fall for that. That's just all clout. Just, yeah, just be true to who you are, remember who you are, and then from that, I'm sure you can find where your destiny will lead you.
Wow, I love that. That's beautiful advice for people who want to be in this field, people who
Mm-hmm.
just listen to this just because, like, knowing who you are, remembering who you are, whose you are, and not losing yourself
Yeah,
is very important to keep in
for
mind.
sure.
Thank you for sharing that with us.
Yeah, no problem. And always remember that God is with you. Like, honestly, I don't feel like preaching. I'm not a preacher, but there is something about knowing that the creator of the world is with you in this journey that we call life. And it's comforting to know that whatever happens, he got you.
For sure.
Wherever you're at in your career path, or even if you're still in school, wherever you're at, he got you.
Yeah, it's there's a peace. It's the peace for me. Like
Come
knowing
on.
that God is on our side, it gives you a
Yeah.
different type of peace. The Bible talks about like not being worried about anything. Literally, the birds don't worry about what they're going to eat, where they're going to go in the
Yeah.
morning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if God is in control of where the birds are going to go and what they're going to eat, how much more is he going to do that for us? You know what I mean? So trusting
Yeah.
him and letting him be in control is key to all that we do so that we can do it successfully and do it in his time.
Yeah. And honestly, it is hard. It is hard to do that. It's difficult. But that's the great thing of having family and friends who also believe in you and also have faith in you and God. So whenever you don't feel like you have the energy to go on your knees, just hit up a friend, be like, hey, I really need prayer right now. You know, the circle you keep is very important too.
Very important. Find people to stand in the gap for you and on your behalf.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, Perla, thank you so much for your time and for your words of encouragement and wisdom. I know that I was blessed by having this conversation with you. I learned a lot, and I know that the people listening to this will learn as well.
Oh, thank you for having me, Laura. I'm so happy and blessed to be here. And honestly, like I said, I am here and available if people want to talk more about my journey or their journeys, no matter what career path they're in. And yeah, this was fun.
Thank you. We'll have to do it again sometime.
Yes. Bye, everyone.
Bye.